Hello friends, so today we'll do the little bit of a DIY video. Basically, I have the Sigma, actually this one, there you go. So that's the Sigma 150-600 zoom sport lens. Anyway, that replaced my last previously owned Nikon 600 f4 because it's much more practical. And anyway, I'll do maybe a comparison video later on that you'll see pluses and minuses of either one. But I had a significant problem with the hood, and using this for video, you need the NDs. And since this camera, the Panasonic S5, doesn't have the NDs built in, I rely on external circular polarizers or linear polarizers, whatever NDs. But you can't adjust the ND through the hole like this. You see, it's quite deep. So in other lenses like this Panasonic 2260, I think, you could still do that by just using your finger, but you have a danger of actually smudging the glass, the filter. And some of you don't care, I do, about these kind of things. So what I thought I would do is I would cut a slit in this lens hood to be able to control the little handle that my particular ND filter comes with. And in this video, we'll be talking just about that. So I already done it. On the other side, you can see. So this is the little handle. Let me just get into focus. There you go. So when I pull it down, it engages the ND functionality. When I pull up, it disengages it. Anyway, a fairly simple hack to do. Doing it by hand, not ideal, because you're gonna have wavy lines and aesthetically maybe not as super pleasing as it would be done at the manufacturers, obviously, but it's just a lens hood. I don't really care about it. I tried finding if I could find a cheaper alternative, for hacking it up, but the lens is fairly recently released anyway, so there's not that many alternatives. But to be fair, the way it's cut, there is almost zero chance of any sun getting through. Right, so to begin with, what I've done is I took some of the frog tape. I had a green frog tape. You can have yellow frog tape, it's a bit less tacky, but green one worked just perfectly fine. And you cover that area that you're gonna be cutting and you mark it out and you cut out. But there is a few places you can get caught off guard. For example, the lens hood itself doesn't fit exactly flush, so you have to account for the overlap that the lip goes over the hood. It's really difficult to explain these things. It's way easier when you do it, but the long story short of this actual full procedure is, it applies to every other kind of DIY project, is you take your time and you measure it as many times as you have to before cutting. And anyway, so I had my baseline measured out of where I'm supposed to cut the first cut, which is the initial line. And from then, it's just a matter of cutting it more and deeper. And what actually does help with this particular lens, that internally it has grooves. And you can actually, when you're cutting it with the Dremel, the disc almost guides itself with the grooves. So that was kind of cool. And yes, I didn't have my calipers, as they always go missing when I need them, so doesn't matter. I just used measuring tape, and it was I think 7mm from one end. I mean, it will vary on your lens. I'm just showing it the way I've done it on my lens. But basically, without that hack, you can't have ND filters unless your camera has the ones built in, which I start understanding more and more why video guys actually many times pass on the camera. They don't even buy one if it doesn't have internal NDs. So yeah, something to think about for the future. And so yeah, initially I had to make a cut to just have a guideline, and then from there I just measured this little metal bit to be able to go through, because initially the first cut is not wide enough for the handle to go through, but slowly you build up, and then once you get through enough, in my case, I was really lucky to get it like really close in terms of the distance of opening and closing. The other good point to mention is that when you're making a cut on lens hoods like this, like on a telephoto camera lens hoods, I would make the cut on the side of this 90 degrees of this lens hood mounting screw, because that screw, what it does, it compresses from down, and then there is another divot from up of the hood, and basically these are your holding points. So you don't want to reduce the integrity of any of those points. So, but there is more than enough space to do that on the side, and because the lens hood is rotatable, you never really have a danger of, like, if you screw the ND slightly differently and then the location of the handle changes, you don't need to worry about that because the lens hood is independent. And anyway, that's done now, so I can actually finally take that camera outside and do some video outside. I've been still swarmed with the DIY projects in the house, but I'm slowly starting picking this up, and hopefully we'll get into the groove of doing things a bit more frequently. Anyway, that's it from me for now. That's all I wanted to share with you this time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.